Have you noticed the sudden biting cold sweeping across Western Europe? Winter has arrived weeks early, catching cities from London to Berlin off guard. This isn't just a typical cold snap, it's a major weather event. A mass of frigid Arctic air has surged south, delivering a harsh preview of winter. Meteorologists call this an Arctic air outbreak. The shift was abrupt, more like flipping a switch than a gradual change. The air is dry, dense, and unmistakably polar, very different from a normal European November. The culprit? The polar vortex, a swirling mass of cold air usually locked around the North Pole. Sometimes the vortex weakens, letting icy air escape and plunge south. That's what's happening now, impacting millions across the continent. This event shows how interconnected our atmosphere is. What happens in the Arctic doesn't stay there. The effects ripple outward, shaping weather far from the pole. As Europe braces for a week of deep freeze, let's explore the science behind this cold snap. What is the polar vortex? Why does it sometimes break down? And what can we expect as this river of Arctic air continues to flow over Europe? Let's find out. So, what is the polar vortex? Picture a giant spinning top of icy air high above the poles. It's a vast area of low pressure and frigid air, strongest in winter when the pole is tilted away from the sun. The vortex spins, strengthened by Earth's rotation, forming a powerful atmospheric barrier. It sits high in the stratosphere, surrounded by the polar night jet stream, a fast-moving wind that fences in the cold. When the vortex is strong, the jet stream keeps Arctic air locked up north, steering milder Atlantic air across Europe. This means winters are usually cool and damp, not brutally cold. But the vortex's strength varies, and when it's stable, it keeps extreme cold at bay. The polar vortex is a key part of our climate system, driven by the temperature difference between the poles and the equator. It's a sleeping giant, stable most winters, but when disturbed, it can unleash waves of cold far to the south. This balance is crucial for predictable weather. When the vortex falters, the cold escapes. That's when Europe feels the Arctic's full force. The polar vortex is powerful, but not invincible. Sometimes it's disrupted by a sudden stratospheric warming event, or SSW. This is when temperatures in the stratosphere above the Arctic rise dramatically, by up to 50 degrees C in days. The cause? Massive atmospheric waves, called Rossby waves, rise from the troposphere and break in the stratosphere, releasing energy and heat. This sudden warming weakens the vortex, distorting or even splitting it. The once stable vortex can fragment, sending pockets of cold air south. The jet stream, which once contained the cold, becomes wavy and unstable. This sets the stage for Arctic air to surge into Europe. The process takes days or weeks to reach the surface, but meteorologists watch SSWs closely. They're a warning sign of big changes ahead. When the stratosphere wobbles, a blast of Arctic air is often on its way. That's what triggered Europe's current deep freeze. The refrigerator door has swung open. Now let's connect the dots. After an SSW, the polar vortex weakens and the jet stream buckles. Instead of a straight path, the jet stream loops, creating deep north-south waves. Where it dips south, it opens a direct route for Arctic air to pour into Europe. That's what's happening now. A deep trough in the jet stream is funneling Siberian air straight into Western Europe. This air is intensely cold, having traveled over snow-covered, sunless land. The result? A sudden, severe temperature drop. Europe is importing the heart of Arctic winter. The weakened vortex has tapped into a reservoir of dense, frigid air and delivered it south. This is a classic example of atmospheric teleconnections. Weather in the Arctic shaping life thousands of kilometers away. A strong vortex means a mild winter. A weak one, as now, brings intense, persistent cold. The shivers Europe feels began weeks ago, high above the pole. The atmosphere's chain reaction is now in full swing. The Arctic outbreak is gripping Western and Central Europe. Scandinavia saw the first wave, heavy snow and record lows in Norway and Sweden. The cold then swept into the UK, France, Belgium, the Netherlands and Germany. Daytime highs are barely above freezing, a stark contrast to last week's mild weather. In Paris, Brussels and Berlin, residents are bundled up against the chill. Energy demand is soaring and icy roads are causing travel headaches. Instead of autumn rain, sleet and snow are falling, even in places where snow is rare in November. Ponds are freezing, the ground is hardening, and daily life is being transformed. Europe is experiencing a true taste of midwinter, weeks ahead of schedule. The forecast is clear. The cold is here to stay for now. The atmospheric pattern locking in this Arctic air will persist for days. Highs will struggle to rise above freezing, with some areas seeing ice days, where temperatures never go above zero. Nights will bring hard frosts, with lows plunging to -4 to -8 Celsius. A biting easterly wind will make it feel even colder. Most areas will stay dry, but sea-effect snow is possible along some coasts. Any Atlantic systems that arrive could bring freezing rain or snow, making travel hazardous. This isn't a brief cold snap. It's a prolonged event, with impacts accumulating each day. Preparation and caution are essential as Europe faces a marathon of winter weather. When deep cold hits, society must adapt fast. Energy demand spikes as people turn up the heat, testing power grids. Roads become icy, airports face delays, and trains can be disrupted. Health risks rise, especially for the elderly and vulnerable. Hospitals see more cases of hypothermia and cold-related illnesses. Homeless shelters fill up, and public health agencies urge people to check on neighbours. Farmers worry about crops and livestock, and burst pipes become common. This Arctic outbreak is a reminder of our dependence on stable weather and the need for community resilience. It's confusing. Global warming headlines, yet record cold outside. The key is understanding the difference between weather and climate. A single cold snap doesn't disprove a warming planet. In fact, some scientists think rapid Arctic warming is making the polar vortex less stable. A weaker, wavier jet stream can let cold air spill south more often. So, paradoxically, a warmer Arctic could mean more wild swings, mild spells interrupted by sudden severe cold. Winters may become less predictable, with more weather whiplash. This event is a lesson in how climate change disrupts established patterns, not just by warming, but by increasing extremes. The melting Arctic, shifting jet stream, and stratospheric changes are all connected. As we alter the atmosphere, surprises, both hot and cold, are likely to become more common. As the cold continues, practical steps matter. Dress in layers. Thermal base, warm mid-layer, windproof outer shell. Protect your head, hands and feet. They lose heat fastest. At home, block drafts, close curtains, and heat only used rooms. Let faucets drip to prevent frozen pipes. Eat hot meals, stay active, and check on vulnerable neighbours. Community support is vital. Reach out to those at risk. Stay updated with weather forecasts and safety advice. Prepare your car for winter if you must travel. With preparation and solidarity, Europe can weather this Arctic blast safely.